Hey guys, we're back with Fate Grand Order. The last time things went from bad to downright terrible, but it's okay. Merlin is here, so we're here. Oh, time of okay, so ahead of time, you see, I always look up like how long the next chapter is. I thought we were on Terminus. That must have been last time. Okay, so no idea how long this is. It's only 2 arrows, so it's gotta be like shortish. I was prepared to do like a 90-minute video. Oh, but okay, yeah, okay. Hi Magi Marie. Now then, I believe greetings are in order. Good day, Chaldeans. So is this game Merlin from this Lost Belt, or is he just like transcended? He's in all timeline. I don't know how Merlins work. I'm the amazing Merlin the Great. I've actually been free for some time now, ever since Morgan was killed and her guardian disappeared. Sorry for getting here so late. Need some extra time to get everything ready. Foe. Is that you, Cathpalug? No fair sting me heading Chaldea without me. Oh yeah, wait. No, Foe stayed in the Wandering Sea, didn't he? Sorry, Merlin. That's just Senpai's Foe impression. Is that a thing in Chaldea now? Who said that could be a thing? I love this guy. Oops, sorry about that. Still a little shaky. Yeah, he did kind of just phase out a little there. I thought that was a glitch. I'm exaggerating when I say this feels like a waking dream for me. You see, I'm not actually there with you. What you're saying right now is an illusion. That also means I can only hear your voices. Okay. Oh, so he actually thought it was Foe. Can't see what either you or Mashu look like right now, Horsey. So I'm afraid our joyful reunion will have to wait a little longer. But don't worry, I'll get to see your grown-up faces in just a few hours. So he does know us, so he's the same guy from, you know, Babylonia. I'll be waiting for you at the entrance to Avalon, making sure I look nice and respectable. Merlin? You're Merlin? That's me! Is that the Child of Prophecy speaking? Sorry to surprise you like this. I know we have a lot to catch up on, but I'm afraid our private conversation will have to wait until things are somewhat less intense. Let's see. I believe Mr. Gordolf is Chaldea's current commander, yes? Is he there now, too? Yes, I am. This is Gordolf Music speaking. So you're Merlin, are you? Yeah, I never got him, so Gordolf hasn't met him. Won't bother asking why you're showing up now. You're right that we have more pressing matters than you barging in. What I want to know is what you meant when you said there's still hope. Nice! You pack a lot of bluster in that voice. Seems you're pretty much the exact opposite of the prior acting commander. But in part 1 was Romani wasn't the acting commander, was he? Was he? I don't remember. I don't know if he's talking about Marisbury there or was Romani? I don't know. But I digress. When I said there's still hope, I meant there's still a way to stop this collapse. Let me cut to the chase. I'd like you to send the Fairy of Paradise back here right away. Victoria, you've been hearing Avalon calling to you ever since you finished ringing the bells, right? It's time for you to fulfill your duties to the Fairy of Paradise and get Caliburn. Once you have, it'll be possible to erase the singularity and defeat Cerninos. Oh, we're just erasing it? So, way to fix this hopeless situation somewhere in paradise? But I'm not qualified to. Qualifications, schmalifications. None of that matters. Cerninos' curse will weaken once the Fairy of Paradise who ring the bells of pilgrimage returns to paradise. Won't get rid of it entirely, but it'll stop it from getting stronger. The God of Wisdom who pawned this power off on me confirmed as much. Maybe from a different mythology, but he knows what he's talking about here. Isn't that right, Ambrosius? My job is to get Artoria to paradise, but by hook or by crook. Ambrosius? As long as she's rung the bells of pilgrimage, doesn't even matter if she's still alive. Right. Of course. I don't know that's how this would go. Grim, why would he say something like that? Yeah, I mean, it's a little mean, but so I've actually kind of known about it all along. See, that's why Grim was here the whole time too. That's expressly for their worst case scenario, Grim. We're nowhere near that point now. She's in the best possible condition right now. I can't see it, but I can sense it. I have no doubt that the Fairy of Paradise, the Avalon le Fae, will fulfill her duty of her own volition. Even if someone convinces her this is ridiculous, then we should all just give up and enjoy the time we have left. Besides, you have no choice but to come to Avalon. There's a spirit cavern that leads to the planet's inner sea from the corpse of Albion. Yep, the border dragon that sank into the dark bog. Now that Britain has begun to collapse, that path should be open again. All you need to do is go spelunking for 1 hour. That said, we're still talking about the largest holy ground in the magecraft world. Won't let just anyone in. But it should open for Horsey as a representative of humanity, Mashu as a Knight of the Round Table, Fairy of Paradise, and I guess there's room for our attendant Morimasa as well. Yeah, let's go! The rest of you will have to wait there until they get back. Yeah, speaking of Albion, apparently the Lord El Malloy case files actually talks about Albion in it. I read like the first novel, first two? I forget if the first two are an arc or just the first one's an arc. Anyway, I definitely read the first one. And I watched like a couple episodes of the anime. I'm not super into it. But like there's so much lore that gets discussed there. Like I gotta read it eventually. Well, go off. What do you have us do? What else can we possibly do? Captain, set a course for the Dark Bog at once. Yeah, we could sit here and die, or, you know, do what Merlin says. That's in the Lake District, right? Do you know the coordinates, Technical Advisor? Sure do. That part won't be a problem. Apparently, the only ones who can enter this, spirit cavern are the 4 more than specified. It's not a lot of fighters for a trip as potentially dangerous as this. Not even mentioning how much I wanted to see this for myself. Yeah, she's been with us the whole time, now she's being left out. Looks like we don't have any other choice but to send them off and trust things will work out. Ready to go, Horsey? Yeah, but you okay, Victoria? I think I'll be fine. Like they'll just end up fighting with Grim if I said no. You know, thinking about it some more, actually kind of excited. This will basically be my first time visiting home. That's a way to look at it. Understood. I'll update our strategy to include Merlin's instructions. Horsey, Mashu, Victoria, Senji Morimasa. You 4 will make your way through the spirit cavern and head for the planet's inner sea, Paradise of Avalon. The storm border will remain on station above the Lake District. Captain Nemo and Da Vinci will focus on piloting the border. If anything should try to attack us, Grim and I will fend them off. Yeah, he knows, Burritsu. Is that the name of it? Wait, please. This is all new and unfamiliar to me, so I doubt I'll be of much help. But Britain is my home. It's only right that I should take part in any battles we may face. Huh? Absolutely not. Yeah, he's like half dead. Well, I mean, he's not gonna make it out of this anyway. Might as well look cool while doing it. If anything, you should be resting right now. You're in no shape to be fighting anymore, right? Your only job now is to get the treatment you need and recuperate until you're back to your old self. It's an order from the Child of Prophecy. Got it? Even think about defying me on this, I'll completely abandon my duty. Is that clear? Yes, Child of Prophecy. I'll follow your orders. Hey, if you try to save the world, I'm gonna give up on saving the world, so you better stop it, Percival. I have to say, though, never thought I'd see the day you get seriously mad at me. I've always been one to keep your feelings in check and not make a fuss. She's great at pretending to be a model student. You think? That I've always been pretty open and forthcoming with my feelings personally. I mean, like, for the past, like, 10 chapters, you've just been brooding and hating everyone. So, no. Sure, maybe you're turning your brain off and doing something stupid. The rest of the time, pretend to be big ol' nervous Nelly. Okay, sorry, I don't know if it picked up. There's a siren outside. Anyway, what do you mean? I've never done anything stupid. What's a nervous Nelly anyway, Morimasa? I've never heard nervous Nelly before, but we're going with it. Mashu's smiling at the abuse Artoria's giving Morimasa. Oh, okay, there's one arrow. Watch this other one be like a super hard boss fight. Lake region. Lantern? I mean, we're going to Albion's corpse. It could be Melusine. Like we discussed earlier, we'll be standing by in the storm border in Lake District airspace. We expect the operation to take about 3 hours. That's all the time the ship, no, Britain, has left. Jeez. We have no way of knowing what will happen in the spirit cavern. So please, try to be as careful as you possibly can, Horsey. Got it. Entering the spirit cavern inside Albion now. That felt different from the water mirror that sent me to the past in Norwich. Did they run out of budget? They couldn't afford a background for this scene? Does this mean we're inside Albion's spirit cavern now? Do we still contact Chaldea? They couldn't just use like the generic cave background. No, we can't. We're cut off now, just as Da Vinci predicted. Gathering coordinate data now. 10, 20, 40, 80... 80? Master, you're not going to believe this, but it looks like we're 80 kilometers below ground now. Oh, I'm American, I don't know what KM means. Hey, that's even deeper than the pit. A lot deeper. Are we even sure this is underground? Completely pitch dark. Doesn't even feel like I'm standing on anything. You're not wrong. This world is in a whole other layer, another dimension, to put it simply. You were just able to bypass all the ground in the way thanks to Albion. Be warned that it goes much deeper. In proper human history, the 80-kilometer mark is where Albion gave up the ghost. What? What does that mean? What does that mean? But in this last bout, Albion managed to make a route all the way to Avalon. Fortunately, the path wasn't wide enough for Albion to get through, so they still died on the surface. And there's a spirit cavern like this in proper human history too? Yeah, go read Lord O'Malloy case files to learn more. That's right, though over there it's known as the Spiritual Tomb. Proper human history, the spiritual tomb of Albion ends at the 80-kilometer mark. Beyond that is a whole world known as the fairy realm, which no human can enter. But since the British last but is all this world's fairy realm, there are no such restrictions here. So we can keep going down as far as we like. In real world distance, starting at the 400-kilometer mark and going further down to the Beyond D layer, 2,700 kilometers away. That is where you'll find your destination, the planet's inner sea. Wait, so we're 80 kilometers below ground now, and our destination 27,100 kilometers below ground? Now how can we cover that kind of distance? It's magic, don't worry about it. Simple, you take a shortcut. When I said it would take an hour, I wasn't basing that on how fast you travel, and that's how long it would take. Period. I'll use a series of transit time reduction spells to bring you all to your destination, of course. Classic. Anyway, this must be pretty dull for you. How about we turn on the lights? Oh boy, background. Oh hey, it's not non-generic background. They could afford a background. It's a cave now. There's like a little memorial behind more. Yeah. So what do you think? Why is Foe here? Doesn't this feel more like a cavern? Now go on, keep moving. Transit time reduction I mentioned is kicking in with every step you take. This place is Earth's memory. Well, more like a space made of pure information, really. The idea is to skip past all the vague, hazy memories and get you straight to your destination. That should be a huge help. But, is that Merlin? Third time she's asked. So finally showing us what you really look like. Something wrong? Oh, I see. Struck down by my true glory. I get it. Very well then. Heap your praise upon me. You can even worship me if you like, Muramasa. It's been a long time since I've showed up after all. Need to leave as strong an impression as possible, given the short time I have. This is not gonna be the one to tell him. This is hilarious. Okay, yeah. No one would tell him. Good point. Probably shouldn't pry too deeply into this. I assume it has something to do with like the data reductions. Don't think too hard about it. More importantly, sent by the memorial over there. Yeah, same as the one in Londinium. Oh, are you seeing the priestess's memories projected there? Perfect. I'll take the hour you'll be traveling to tell you how this all began. This is the story of the British Lastboat's genesis, but precisely the Fairy of Paradise's mission in lore. I assume she already knows? Became ocean at the end. There's ocean at the beginning. After the shooting star passed, the land all ran into rivers. That's Safar. Long, long ago, as far back as time can go, 6 fairies went outside to find the world had become an ocean. This is awful, they thought. How terrible our world has become. So what's with the background? Why is it... that's the border that shows up when you try to play the game in like a higher resolution than it can support, right? So did they just make this a widescreen background for some reason? Then a large shadow grows up from the ocean. It belonged to a giant, fluffy creature. On its shoulders stood one of the animals the fairies believed was gone. I mean, I guess animal, sure. The 6 fairies and the gods soon became friends. Oh boy! It wasn't easy living on the ocean. There's nowhere to go and nothing to do. But the god made things better for the 6 fairies by sheltering them from the waves. The ocean without waves is nice, but we still miss having land. So the 6 fairies offered the god their joy. And they offered the god their wish. Then they offered the god himself. So the fairies' wish was granted. So they sacrificed the god to build land. Then after their rejoicing ended, they tricked the god into drinking poison wine. Died. Oh. That sounds a little familiar. And so the fairies acquired the god's body. They made the body the land on which they could live. They were grateful too to be able to make use of the crying, screaming animal the dead god left behind. Oh boy. She was their only human, but one simply wasn't enough. So being very careful not to kill her, they cut her to pieces. Of course, they cast a spell on her to make sure she wouldn't die no matter what they did, used every last piece of her. Thus did the Isle of Britain come into being. Thus did the great mistake begin. Yeah, that's not great. May the first 6 fairies find salvation. May the first 6 fairies be cursed for all time. Oh, she didn't know that. Oh, okay. There you have it. You may have read it before, but that's the story of Britain's creation. Any questions? Not how I remember it. Is that why? Question mark? Indeed, the first 6 fairies, the progenitors of the 6 clans, killed Cernunnos. The pit you saw on the surface is Cernunnos' grave. The curse spilling out of it even as we speak is his rage. But why would the fairies do such a thing? They're fairies. He was in their way. This all happened 14,000 years ago. When the 6 fairies came out from paradise and onto the surface, Earth is already covered in a sea of nothingness. The one who ended up helping the 6 stranded fairies was a Celtic beast god who had come up to the surface just like they had. A god who would later come to be known as Cernunnos. Cernunnos and his priestess, the lone human who had managed to survive just like the fairies had, both did their best to protect the fairies. At first, the fairies were grateful for their help. But the Sea of Nothingness never changed. No matter how much time passed, no land appeared. The fairies blamed Cernunnos for that. They thought he just wasn't strong enough. What's more, they didn't particularly like his priestess. She was constantly telling them to sort themselves out, consider the consequences of their actions. Yeah, we hate that, kill her. Well, no, don't kill her, cut her up into pieces and make her live forever. Eventually, the fairies couldn't take it anymore, decided to deal with Cernunnos. Permanently. They figured that since they didn't have any land to stand on, they could find a substitute. Since Cernunnos was so big, they thought his body would serve just as fine as a small island. But of course, Cernunnos was a god. They couldn't kill him so easily. So they came up with a plan and held a festival. They told Cernunnos they were holding the festival in his honor, to worship him, at a banquet with lots of wine. He was delighted that he was being celebrated for being the fairies' first official god. He probably figured they were trying to change their thoughtless ways. And so, against his priestess's wishes, Cernunnos attended the banquet, and poisoned to death when he drank their wine. Some rejoicing that turned out to be. But yeah, what about the priestess? The fairies used her as the foundation, but the base ingredients for the humans that came later. Okay, that's still gonna be relevant in some way, right? That's not just like a random detail Nasu threw in because he hates this priestess, right? Like, the fact that Da Vinci, like, so early on was like, oh yeah, by the way, all the humans here are DNA generated and only have so long to live. That's such a weird detail to include, right? If that's not going to be like a core part of the story. Truth is, every human in the British last spell is an inferior copy of the priestess who was killed during Britain's genesis. At any rate, and as a right, the 6 fairies went on to create their own stone and forest children and grow their clans. As time passed, they transformed more and more of Cernunnos' body into land. But after 100 years, things stopped growing quite so well for the fairies. Their children kept dying, turning into fallen trees, adrift on the sea. New generations kept being born, so the number of fairies never decreased. And thanks to the humans who had been copied from the priestess's cells, Britain was slowly developed into a civilization. With civilization came new societal roles. Fairies made new types of fairies. They flourished like never before. Okay, so if Cernunnos was killed, well, I mean, he was. You get the idea. Why are there cathedrals? Because there's not just one in Salisbury, which is where we can assume, you know, maybe Britain started out, right? Like, Salisbury was probably around back when Cernunnos was around, right? But there's one where we fought Beryl, remember? That was like near the northish. Why is that there? But they also kept dying for no reason whatsoever. Eventually, the 6 progenitor fairies realized Cernunnos' rage was the cause. Because remember that Salisbury Cathedral predates, like, Salisbury trying to, like, imitate humans, doesn't it? Even though Cernunnos' soul was gone, his body wasn't completely dead. So I assume the other one does too. In fact, his heart alone still burned with the fire they used to cremate him. Even in his death, Cernunnos' body continued to smolder with anger and curses. He could very well have come back to life at any time. Fairies were so shocked by this that they fled Cernunnos' body. Fortunately, this was right around the time their children's corpses were starting to form new ground. And fairy corpses are essentially made from the same stuff as the planet itself. The fallen trees became earth and stone and quickly filled in the sea, almost as if they were trying to cover up the fairies' sins. That's how this lost spell began. That's why the Owl of Britain uses fairy corpses to grow and expand. For several thousand years, fairies had acquired their very own Britain. But all the while, Cernunnos' body was still there. So why is he full? A divine grave that would let no ocean-filling fallen tree. An indelible reminder of the fairies' sin, a reminder that rejected their corpses. Eventually, the fallen trees blocked off the ocean's water for good. Cernunnos' body was left behind at the bottom of the sea. That is the true nature of the pit. Not actually a pit. It's the remains of a patch of dried up ocean. An island made by killing a god. Fairies' original sin. It wasn't just Cernunnos they killed, but the priestess who served him as well. No, she wasn't just killed. She was desecrated and used as a tool for all these 14,000 years. No wonder Cernunnos is so pissed. Not even killing every fairy in Britain would be enough to satisfy him. So that mirrors Morgan and Balbon Sith, doesn't it? Like Morgan would be the Cernunnos there, and Balbon Sith. Didn't they even? Am I misremembering that, or didn't they actually chop her up before they threw her in the pit? I might be misremembering that. Although, why'd he come to the surface anyway? I don't want to remember that if that's what they did to her. Isn't it kind of narrow-minded to curse the whole dang world just because you got killed? Especially after you went out of your way to get involved with the fairies? Probably because Cernunnos was an envoy of paradise sent to reprimand the fairies. That's the whole reason he came here, to punish them. I don't think his heart was in it though. Like this memorial shows, Cernunnos was a very kind god by nature. But the fairies might have found him terrifying simply because he existed. Does that mean the reason the world became a sea of nothingness is... Did the 6 fairies do it? Was it you guys? That's right. That's the point where this lost spell diverged from proper human history and its greatest mistake. You see, 14,000 years ago was the greatest turning point for all of humanity. Yeah, I know, I haven't played Fate Stella yet. I will after I beat CCC, okay, Merlin, okay? Maybe you heard something about the planetary envoy that almost destroyed Earth's past ancient civilization back in Olympus? Yes, we did. There was a white civilization destroying giant named Saphir who fell from a shooting star. Saphir wiped out countless pantheons, almost destroyed every civilization on Earth. In the end, it was humans who managed to defeat it, not gods. I heard they did so using divine constructs, weapons made in the planet's inner sea meant to combat planetary threats. Wait. Okay, hold on, okay. What limited knowledge of Fate Extella I have. Wasn't there like a Excalibur user before Artoria who killed Saphir? Does that mean like the fairies should like... Excalibur comes from fairies, so does that mean they just kept it for themselves? They're like, oh, suckers, that's our sword. You can't have it. I also heard that the sacred sword Excalibur is the greatest such weapon, and that it was created in Britain. That's right. I just realized that nobody here has ever mentioned it. You just now realize that? The very idea of a sacred sword just doesn't exist in this version of Britain. So that must mean... Well, they did have Erendite and Galadine here, right? Excalibur was never made here? This one probably has a little more dialogue to it. Those have to be fake. They're just borrowing their names from their round table of proper human history. Besides, Barghest Galadine was their horn, and Melusine's iron Erendite was just a crystallized magical energy. So yeah, it's pretty clear that no sacred sword is ever made in this Britain. That's right. Sure, I don't have to tell you what happened as a result. In this what-if world, humanity never had the means to defeat Saphir. That's why they were wiped out. Saphir destroyed all the planet's landmasses and took them for itself, leaving only a sea of nothingness with a few aquatic life forms. But why was the sacred sword never made? The reason for that is both exceedingly simple and unsurprising. They didn't want to trust humans with it. Creators slacked off. Hey guys, we know we gotta save the world, but you know, we don't really feel like it. The A-Ray, that is, the 6 fairies who were supposed to forge it in the planet's inner sea, decided it would be okay to take a day off just this once, went off to have fun. It was only once they noticed something had gone wrong with the world and went up to the surface that they realized the consequences of their choices. But they figured there's no changing the past. They refused to accept that the world's destruction was their fault. So Cernunnos, the one god who had taken shelter in paradise to keep his priestess safe, was sent to reprimand them, make them atone for their sins. I wonder if the priestess is gonna show up. It's kind of like Ainzel, right? Ainzel was mentioned a whole bunch, and then, you know, Gareth. But then the fairies killed Cernunnos and his priestess, the last surviving human. At that point, they could no longer return to the planet's inner sea. Only those free of sin may pass, meaning only fairies without sin can go to paradise. It's the same for all of Britain's fairies. They're all descended from those original 6. None of them can enter the planet's inner sea, and so they continue to suffer on that island of sin to atone. A single lapse in judgment ended the world. That's right, it all started with the sacred sword never being made. Eventually, fairies chosen from the planet's inner sea were sent to the surface to correct this mistake. The first one was Vivienne? I don't know. The second one was you, Caster. Is Morgan Vivienne in this? You know, well, without the E, it's Vivienne, right? So can I just say that? Your mission is to have the 6 clans admit to their mistake and inherit the mystic needed to create the sacred sword. The bells of pilgrimage indicate that the clan heads have accepted their sins. The fairy who rang them all became the sacred sword itself. But as Morgan, Vivienne refused to do that. After all, once the sacred sword is made, the very premise on which this last spell is built would cease to be. I'm sure you learned about this yourself when you rang the bell in Orkney, Caster. And in spite of that, you continued on your path, defeated Morgan, and now you're here with Horsey. You must have had to face down so many doubts to come this far. In fact, you may never be entirely free of them. But even so, you're still here, which is why I believe you have what it takes to see this through to the end. Anyway, now that's a lot of talking, but we're almost at our destination now. Did this screen just get a little darker, or is that just me? convictions of the last dragon are waiting up ahead to see if you're all qualified to proceed. Only those free of sin may pass. That sin doesn't refer to the original sin you're born with, or the sins you have committed in your life thus far. First to what you're about to do, what your hearts are resolved to now. Your reason for living, yeah, it's getting darker. Your principle for existing in prosperity. The way to the land of hope will only open for those who demonstrate true strength in these regards. Try to see if I can tell who that is. It's gone. Everything on the surface is gone. The sky, the sea, life, everything I've ever seen. My records will never again grow in number. I'll never again know new joys. Who knows, you who would choose the sacred sword's wielder, you who would chant the king's name. You seek a new world, but leave all traces of the old behind. My name is... Oberon. No, probably not. Oh, Albion. I'm the last dragon, one who chose to continue flying above the ground instead of returning to the inner sea. You can overcome these tears, offer my heart to the Forger of Stars. Okay. Oh, only... Okay, geez, that... I'm gonna guess this is a single target. So... Maybe? Wait, can I not bring my Artoria? Dang it, game! You stinky waver. I'm just joking, waver. You're not stinky. You smell very nice, waver. Okay, there was something I wanted to rant about. Hold on. I don't think this is going to be a very long battle, so I don't know if I have time. Oh, but anyway, the Valentine event started though. I've only done the first section, because that's in it. It's cool. I spent 30 quartz for her, didn't get her, so it's like, you know, I'll give up. Red Dragon. Increase attack or defense or critical rate for yourself when attacked. Okay, that's random. Oh, that's allowed on my end. Okay. It should be pretty easy, I think. I mean, the possible defense up is kind of bad, but I think we could take this down in like 3 turns. Especially if we get lucky with the arts downs. How much will that do? Not bad, not bad. Yeah, anyway, rolled for Bizette, didn't get her. Gonna keep saving up for Balbon Sith because she did nothing wrong. And like, I'm probably not even gonna use her once I get her, but it's about having her, you know? Once you get a servant, you don't care about them anymore. But when you don't have them, you want them. I'm like a fairy. Oh, it's not an arts resist down, it's a defense down, isn't it? You get him. Oh no, wait, maybe using Maeve here is... This is uncanon. He died. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, we're doing good. Red Dragon does have a couple defense downs now. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna rant about a light novel I'm almost finished with now. The whole series. I'll get to that next time. I don't want to spoil the surprise for everyone. Come on, yeah, let's go. That'll finish. You do it, Maeve. Okay. It's time to sin. I can hear the bells tolling. Sorry, that's squeaky. My heart may have stopped, but yours yet beats strong. Welcome home, Avalon le Fae. May the sound of hope echo into the future. Oh, goodbye. Is that light from outside? That's right. That's the entrance to the planet's inner sea. This is the land of the young. Nog, the eternal spring. This is the place many life forms have dreamed of finding. Welcome to an Avalon whose time has come. This is where the journey of the planet's birth ends. Okay. I figured it was gonna cut it there. We're gonna get like a new background, all pretty, probably. We're gonna see like Merlin's tower. Or is it just gonna be pure white? Oh yeah, see, pretty background. By the way, I did not remember this at all from the Japanese server, so don't be like, oh, you knew what I had to die, boys. No, I could. Oh, the moment a planet is born. That's like the subtitle, isn't it? I've definitely heard that phrase before, so. Yeah, geez, we've got 3 sections left. So, I assume this chapter is going to be about getting Excalibur, or... Oh, you know what? They said they never made Excalibur, right? You know who we have here with us? Moramos is going to get a cool scene, and Emiya is going to play. Just you wait. Right, so my guess for what's gonna happen. This chapter is dedicated to Excalibur plus maybe more lore. I don't know how they drag that on for 7 arrows, but we'll see. The chapter 29 is Cerninos, and then chapter 30 is like, aha, it was me, oh my god, the whole time, ah, ha 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 ha. Dude, we all know he's good somehow. I don't know how, but somehow. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. See you guys next time. Bye.